Hey guys, here we are, Patreon. This is Thursday's workout. I don't know why I did this. It's Thursday. T for Thursday. So hopefully Tuesday went well for you. You may be a little bit sore today depending on when you're going to do this Thursday workout. And if you are sore, be mindful of these exercises that you're about to do. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do them. It just means sometimes if you're sore, you need to take it a little bit slower. But I'm happy that you're here. I got some fun stuff for you guys today as well. So we're going to get right into it. Now this first one I've had us do before. It's a figure 4 glute release with a ball, okay? Now you could do this with a foam roller as well. You do the exact same position in the same place on the glute. You're just sitting on a roller rather than a ball. So I got the ball here. I'm going to put it under my right butt cheek. And then on my right side, I'm going to bring this right foot to my left knee, okay? When I bring the right foot to my left knee, when I bring my leg into this figure 4 position, I'm exposing the piriformis in my right hip, okay? The piriformis is the muscle that encapsulates the sciatic nerve. So a lot of sciatic issues come from this muscle just being too tight and pinching on the nerve there. So what we're trying to do is find a tender area on this side, which I'm doing by exposing the nerve in this position. And I'm going to hang out here for the next minute. I'm going to relax. So hopefully at this point you're here, you're on the ball with me, and you're finding what seems to be a tender spot. After about a minute, we're going to do the contract relax method in this particular location. So now the conscious breathing here is really important because you don't want to be tensing against the ball. You want to be relaxing in this first minute. So sometimes it's important that I shut up. I do the breathing myself. It's also important that even though you're watching this, you're consciously breathing, you're consciously relaxing for this first portion. So we're going to do another 30 seconds here with just the breath. You can use 2 hands. I'm on 1 hand, but you can use 2. It can be a little hard on the shoulders. Fifteen more seconds. Like I talked about the other day, I started to feel a little twitching sensation in the glute, which is a good thing. Remember, that means that the muscle is relaxing. Now I'm going to begin the contract relax. What that's going to look like is I'm going to push my right knee down towards the ground, and that's contracting my right glute, and then I relax. Now optimally, you want to take a big breath in first. Big breath in, contract, pushing down, still holding that breath, relax, let it go. Now I'm going to do that 2 more times. I usually do that between 3 and 5 times, so you can play with that yourself if you want to do some more as well. Big breath in, push down, contract, and relax. Let the air out. If you need to shift a little bit, find another spot to do that again. Big breath in, contract, and relax. And as you do that contract relax, what you may notice is it gets deeper into the tissue because the muscle is essentially relaxing so that the ball can get deeper into the tissue. So that's about 2 minutes, probably more like 3 minutes on that side. Now we'll switch. I'm going to get on my left cheek now. My left ankle is going on my right knee. And just like I'm noticing, you may notice that one side is tighter or more painful than the other. We've talked about that a lot at this point. There's usually one side that's more tight than the other. So I'm finding that piriformis. Now you may not understand or know at this point where exactly that piriformis is. Usually what you'll find in the most painful spot, or the spot that creates more of a referral, and a referral means that you're feeling the sensation go down your leg a little bit, that's a good indicator that you're on the piriformis and on the nerve, which is okay. You want to be there. You want to find that spot. So find that sensation where you feel it go down your leg a little bit. Take some big breaths here. Woo. Now it's important, as you guys are doing this, obviously you're watching this video and hopefully joining along with me. As you're doing, especially these releases, these stretches, you want to try to be as present as possible. So try not to allow anything else on your phone or on your computer get in the way. If you have a text pop up on your phone or if you have an email pop up, it's probably best to ignore it. And even better, if you're getting on your computer or your phone to watch this, put on Do Not Disturb first, so you can really get through all of these without being distracted. It's really important as you do any physical, anything with your body, that you want to be present with what you're doing here so you get the most out of it, right? Make this the most out of your time. Now at this point we can do contract, relax. So I'm going to take a big breath in. Push my left knee down towards the ground. I feel my left glute contracting. And relax. Whew. Oh. Yeah, for me, that the ball just sunk in a little bit deeper as I did that. That's why the groan. Here we go again. Big breath in. Oh, yeah. I don't know what your noises or face is looking like on the other side, but I hope I'm not alone in this. I'm going to do one more on this side. Contract. And relax. Oh. Yeah, so clearly for me, my left side is worse and a little bit tighter. So now I'm going to come off that. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is actually stretch the hip and the glute. That's why we just rolled it. So we're going to get a 90-90 position here. Okay. Now, as we've gone through before in this position, I'll just review because there's some new viewers. So we're going to review and get into what's exactly 90 degrees in my hips and both of my knees. Okay, and then I'm pulling my toes up towards my shins. Okay, you don't want your toes pointed down towards the ground. Or not towards the ground, but away from your shins. Now what we're going to do here, this is a little different, is we're going to do a rotation with our body in this position. So what that means is that we're going to do this big circular motion with my chest. And what that's going to do is it's going to capture different stretches in my hips as I go along. So what that looks like, I'm going to go down to the ground over here. And I'm going to walk my way around forward using my hands, keeping my chest down in every piece of this rotation. Now as I come to this leg, this is literally as far as I can go down with my chest here. This is as far as I can drop down. And now I'm going to rotate back. And that's as far as I can go this way. And then I'm going to go back down and I'm going to swivel back around just the way that I came up. So I'm down, I'm down, I'm down, I'm down, around. Now that was one full trip. I'm going to do 4 more trips. So join me. And if you're going along here and you find this position right here and you're like, oh, that feels kind of nice. Maybe I want to hang out here for a couple seconds. Hang out here for a couple seconds. That's fine. That usually means that your body is telling you that this one particular location is a little bit more useful than any other. That does not mean that you should avoid the areas that are less less joyful, or that feel not as good. Like, you know, in this particular location, when you're stretching internal rotation of this hip, this feels like shit for me. It does not feel good. I don't like this stretch, but that doesn't mean it's not also helpful. It just means that it's a different kind of stretch that doesn't feel as good for me, but I should still focus on it. So now I'm going to go along. For the sake of time, I'm going to keep this rotation moving. So we're stretching a lot of things here. I haven't really said what muscles or anything like that, but when I lean forward over this knee, I feel glute in my right hip. When I come in towards this foot, I get more of the lateral hamstring and sciatic nerve as it goes to the hamstring. As I turn towards this leg, I'm stretching the internal rotators of this hip. And then as I turn back, I actually get a lot more spine, obliques, and of course everything the same way as I come back around. When I turn this way, I get a little bit of glute and hip on this leg, but I also get a lot of spine here as well in this rotation. And now we're doing this rotation and being active here, going around and back and forth, because we're pre-workout, right? This is before we're doing activity. And when we're going to do activity, we want to keep our stretches active. You don't want to do passive stretching before you do exercise, because passive stretching doesn't prepare you well for exerting yourself. You want to stay nice and active and get the muscles warm and lengthened at the same time to then be able to do exercise. Switching sides. As we said earlier, when we were rolling the hip, it could feel totally different. So I know my left glute is tighter. That means that having this left leg forward is going to feel a little bit tighter than my right. Internal rotation on my right side is also a little bit different because I've had an injury to this right hip. So I'm just going to be mindful. I'm going to first start over here, lower my chest. Take it slow this first revolution because you haven't done this side yet, so you don't know how it's going to feel exactly on this other side. And you don't want to push it too hard on this first go round. That's one. Okay, I got two more. I'm at 3 total. Now remember, if you're doing just tier 1 and this is going to be your routine for the day, you're definitely welcome to do more repetitions than I am. You can always pause the video, do more, cycle back around, do it again. And there's certainly nothing wrong with using these exercises tomorrow as well. As far as the mobility goes, you could do these quite often. Keep using them. That would be different for the actual exercises, the core exercises that we do. The dynamic movement you wouldn't want to repeat regularly. those kinds of things you want to be changing so that your body continues to adapt to different exercises. All right, done with that side. The last stretch we're going to do is called half split. And we've done this before, at least some version of it, but you're going to get kneeling and keeping the back toes pulled under, not flat. Okay, you're going to put one leg out in front of you like this. This time we're going to bring our hands to our ears, keeping our posture open. So I'm really thinking about pulling my shoulder blades back. I'm thinking about keeping this leg straight and my toes pulled back towards my shin. You don't want your toes to go down like that. Now, as I said before, that there's a lot of balance in doing this, right? So that's part of this activating, essentially active stretch that we're going to do. So keeping the shoulder blades back and the elbows pulled back, toes pulled back. You're going to lean forward a little bit, come back up. Lean forward, come back up. Now, what you'll notice with my back is that my back stays flat. Okay, so I'm going to repeat. My spine is not folding. Now, I can go further, but look at my back. Look how much further I can go. My back is rounded, okay, and I went much further, but that's not what we want. We want to stay active in our spine. And then when I stay active in my spine, that's literally as far as I can go right there. Okay? So that's a true mobilization, keeping the body active and stable. So keeping the spine like that, we're going to do 15 folds, actively stretching that forward hamstring, this right hamstring for myself right now. I'm at 6. And you may notice throughout the reps, you can go further and further because that hamstring gets more and more opened, more lengthened as you go along. I'm at 9, 10, 12, 2 more. All right, I'm going to switch. At this point, you're starting to sweat a little bit. I know I am. My left hamstring is tighter, so you're going to notice I'm probably not going to go as far when I go down to this side. So, same position. My toes are pulled under. These toes are pulled back. My leg is straight. Starting a nice upright posture. My shoulder blades are pulled back. My chest is open. I'm going to lean forward a little bit, keeping my spine flat and active, and that's as far as I could go. And that's okay. It's not important. What I notice in a lot of my clients is that we'll try to push ourselves further, yet as we do that, we compromise the stability of the spine. It does not matter at all how far you're going, okay? What matters is the flat spine and the position that I offered earlier, okay? So you really do not need to think about how far you're going. Okay, that's not important. Because over time, that will change. You will end up going farther and farther the more you mobilize the hamstrings. So I'm at 6. It's getting a little bit more open for me. Five more. Ooh, almost lost the balance. One more after this. All right, 15 on that side. So there we go, you guys. We just completed the mobility flexibility portion of today's workout. And if you're done here, congratulations, here you go. And then if we're moving on, tier 2 or tier 3, we're about to get started.